graduation day. In a small-town Georgia high school, the lunch lady, Linda Watson, sits in the front row in her best dress, eyes shining with tears.
4 years, I've slipped him extra food and never told a soul.
Robert Carter walks across the stage. He searches the crowd until he finds Linda, then mouths the words, "Thank you." After the ceremony, a black stretch limousine waits outside. Robert takes her arm. "Please, just get in. I'll explain everything." Inside sits a stranger in a sharp suit, his eyes fixed on her.
Who is this man?
"This is someone very important to me. He has something to tell you."
What secret has this boy been hiding for 4 years?
The answer began 4 years ago, with a hungry boy in the lunch line and one extra sandwich. But that's not where this story ends. It starts there, 4 years earlier. In this same cafeteria, Linda Watson had served lunch for 18 years. She knew which kids came hungry.
Another new school year, another line of faces, some with lunch money, some without.
A quiet boy approached in worn-out sneakers. Day after day, his card declined. Day after day, he just stood there.
He never says a word, and his tray stays empty.
On the third day, when his card beeped red again, Linda's hand moved before she could think. She grabbed an extra sandwich and tucked it under his napkin. "Ma'am, I didn't ask for this."
Every kid needs lunch. Just say you lost your card again.
He looked at her, confused, then nodded. From that day, the extra sandwich appeared on his tray every single school day.
He never asks. He never explains. But he eats every crumb.
And no one in that cafeteria ever noticed. A silent pact was born. To understand why Linda broke every rule, you had to follow Robert home. Every afternoon, Robert walked 2 miles along a dusty road to a trailer park east of town. No bus money, no ride. Inside, he did his homework at a tiny table while his grandmother slept. The silence was heavier than the hunger. Linda knew that silence. She lived it herself, in her own trailer, 2 miles from the school.
I make $15 an hour after bills. There's not much left, but that boy has even less. There was another boy once, 10 years ago. He disappeared from the line, and I never asked. That can't happen again. Not on my watch.
Robert always ate alone, in a corner of the cafeteria, with the sandwich she gave him.
4 years, and he's still here. Still hungry. Still alone.
And it would have stayed that way forever, except that nothing stays invisible in a school cafeteria forever. One afternoon, a coworker named Maxine rounded the steam table unannounced. Linda's hand froze above the extra sandwich.
Funny how you always have an extra ham sandwich. I've never seen you run out.
Some kids forget their lunch. I keep a backup. No rule against that.
Linda's pulse pounded. Maxine shrugged, but her eyes lingered, cold and curious, before she walked away.
She knows something's off. I have to be smarter about this.
But when Robert's card beeped red again, Linda's hand moved on its own. She couldn't let him go hungry. Robert never knew about the close call. He just sat in his corner, grateful for the sandwich, lost in his own world.
As long as he eats, I'll keep doing it. The risk is worth his full stomach.
And for 4 years she did. Through Maxine's narrowed glances, through the fear of being caught. But by senior year, Maxine's suspicion had found a voice, and it was about to walk straight into the principal's office. Linda caught Maxine's whisper near the prep station, her voice low but sharp.
That Carter boy never pays, yet his tray is always full. Someone's covering for him, and it ain't charity.
She's tracking every sandwich now. I can feel her counting behind my back.
So Linda shifted her routine. She only slipped the extra sandwich when Maxine was on break or busy with a spill. But Maxine adjusted too, lingering near the register, watching the line like a hawk.
Linda, you ever notice how the inventory's off? Might be time for a waste log review with the principal.
She's not just guessing. She's building a case. If she opens those logs, I'm done.
That afternoon, Robert appeared with his empty tray. Linda's hand shook as she reached under the counter, Maxine's stare burning into her back. The ritual held, but the space between a kind act and a firing offense was growing razor thin, and Maxine knew it. She was waiting for the slip that would finally give her a reason to act. That night, Linda sat at her kitchen table, bills spread out like a losing hand. The numbers never added up.
If Maxine pushes this, I lose the only income I have. How do I help a hungry boy when I can barely feed myself?
Her pay stub lay on the table. $15 an hour, 30 hours a week. Barely enough for her own rent. The next Saturday, Linda drove to the discount grocery store on the edge of town, and there she saw Robert.
That's his grandmother. He's carrying her bags, helping her to the car. No one told him to.
Robert spoke softly to her, his patience unforced. A boy who had nothing, giving everything he had.
That's why I do it. He's not just a hungry kid. He's the kind of person the world tries to break, but he doesn't break.
She walked back into the cafeteria Monday morning, chin high. Maxine's glare was waiting, but Linda's fear had been replaced by something stronger.
I'll feed that boy until he graduates. Let them fire me. Let them try.
The ritual continued, stronger than ever. Now powered by a promise Linda made to herself. No child would disappear from her line again. One afternoon, 4 years into the ritual, Robert paused before taking his tray. He looked directly at Linda, something he had never done.
Thank you, ma'am, for all of them.
He knows. After all this time, he knows.
Maxine was at the register, just 10 feet away. Her head turned at the sound.
If she heard that, she'll connect every dot.
But Robert's eyes held hers, and for a single breath, the cafeteria fell away.
You are welcome, honey. Now move along before the line backs up.
He nodded and walked to his corner. But Linda's heart thudded with a mix of terror and unexpected warmth. Someone had finally seen her.
That boy just made himself a witness. And that makes everything more dangerous.
The gratitude was a gift, but it had cracked open the seal of silence. And Maxine was already sniffing at the brake. A week later, a black sedan with tinted windows idled at the school gate as Robert slipped inside. It was polished, expensive, out of place.
That car cost more than I make in a year. Who picks him up in that?
Robert ducked into the back seat like he didn't want to be seen. His face turned away from the school. The next day, Linda leaned in while handing him his tray, voice low.
Robert, you got any other family around here? I saw that nice car yesterday.
No, ma'am. Just my grandma. That was just a ride from a neighbor.
He's lying. But why? Maybe he's just embarrassed. A boy who needs a lunch lady to feed him doesn't have a family with money. I am seeing things.
She slid the sandwich onto his tray with a steady hand, but the image of that shiny car clung to her mind. The seed of doubt had been planted, and in the last weeks before graduation, it would grow into something none of them expected. 2 days before graduation, the cafeteria emptied after the last lunch wave. And then Maxine called Linda's name from the prep station.
You know the principal ordered a full inventory review before the end of the week, right?
An inventory review. She'll see the missing sandwiches. I'm done.
I've been telling her for months that some things don't add up. Funny how she finally listened.
Linda's voice came out dry. She clutched the edge of the steam table.
Maybe some waste just isn't logged right. I'll be more careful.
You do that, Linda. We wouldn't want anyone getting fired right before graduation.
Linda's hand trembled as the last stragglers came through the line. Then Robert shuffled forward, his card in hand.
Don't do it. Not today. Not with her watching.
But when his card beeped red, Linda's hand moved anyway. She slipped the sandwich under a napkin as his eyes widened. The risk had never been heavier. The next morning, a sticky note on Linda's station read, "See Principal Davis before first lunch." Her blood ran cold.
Linda, Robert Carter won't walk at graduation. unless you are in the front row.
He'd risk his diploma for me? Why?
He also said, you are the only person who never asked him for anything back.
I just served him lunch. That's my job.
Clearly. It was more. I've been principal 18 years. Kids don't make demands like that for cafeteria workers unless that worker changed something fundamental.
The sandwiches. He told her. No, he didn't. He just said enough.
Linda walked out of the office in a daze, the weight of 4 invisible years suddenly pressing on her shoulders.
He wants me there. But why? What's he not telling me?
The principal's words had lifted a burden but planted a deeper question. In 48 hours, the truth would find her, wearing a face she could not yet imagine. That evening, Linda stood in her tiny trailer closet. She owned work uniforms, old jeans, and one dress she hadn't worn in 8 years.
I can't walk into that gym in an apron. They'll all see me.
She went to ask her neighbor, a retired teacher, for something nicer. The woman brought out a soft blue dress with tiny flowers.
This dress probably cost more than my whole paycheck, but I'll return it by Monday.
She tried it on. The mirror showed a woman she almost didn't recognize.
I've worn a hairnet so long I forgot what my own hair looks like down.
She sat on the edge of her bed and thought of all the children she'd fed, all the secrets she'd kept.
If that boy wants me in the front row, I'll be there. Not for thanks, but because he asked.
She laid the dress on a chair and set her alarm for sunrise. Sleep came slow and full of questions, but beneath the nervousness was a flicker of something unfamiliar. The feeling of being counted, the gymnasium filled with families. In the front row, Linda sat in her borrowed blue dress, feeling like a ghost at a feast.
There he is, taller than I remember.
When Robert Carter crossed the stage, he didn't look at the principal. He found Linda's face and held it. A promise kept. His lips moved without sound. Thank you. Linda's hand flew to her chest, tears blurring the ceremony. After the caps flew, Robert pushed through the crowd and wrapped his arms around her before she could speak.
You came. I knew you would.
He took her elbow and steered her toward the exit. There's something else, he said, his voice dropping.
A limousine, here, for him?
Robert opened the rear door. Inside, a man in a tailored suit sat in the hushed dimness, his eyes fixed on Linda. Linda's feet wouldn't move. The stranger's gaze held a weight she didn't understand, a secret that had been growing since the very first sandwich.
Please, sit. I am Malcolm Ford, Robert's father. I know you have questions.
Robert has a father, and he looks like a CEO.
Robert isn't poor. I placed him in that school under his mother's name. I wanted him to earn his character, not inherit it.
He was never hungry. I risked everything for a boy who didn't need a sandwich.
Malcolm pulled out a tablet. On it was grainy cafeteria footage, Linda's hand placing the extra sandwich, again and again.
I watched every single day. The cameras were my insurance, but you taught me something my money never could.
You watched me risk my job for your son, and you never said a word?
I am sorry. I wanted to tell you 100 times, but I was ashamed of my father's money.
Linda stared at them. The betrayal cut deep, but beneath it was something else. The taste of a kindness that had cost her nothing she could measure. The truth was out. But the real question hung in the air. What would she do with it?
Why didn't you tell me, Robert? 4 years, and you let me think you were starving.
Because the way you looked at me was the only honest thing in my life. I was afraid you'd see me differently.
Linda's anger faltered. She saw the boy who'd helped his grandmother, the boy who'd whispered thank you.
I could have lost my job, and you weren't even in danger.
I monitored everything. If your job had been threatened, I would have stepped in, but you never asked for help.
You think that makes it better? You let me fear every day.
I am not asking you to forgive my father. I am asking you to forgive me.
He's still the boy I fed. The one who helped his grandmother. The one who said thank you. I don't know if I can forgive this, but I can't unfeed you either.
The silence stretched. Then Malcolm spoke again, his tone shifting.
I want to make this right. I've arranged a check for $50,000. Take it.
You think money fixes this? That I fed your son for 4 years waiting for a paycheck.
It's more than I know how to give in words. Please, let me help.
Linda pushed the door handle. She needed air, distance from the weight of this man's guilt. But Robert moved quickly, blocking the door with his body. He wouldn't let her go.
Please, you showed me what decency looks like. Not my father. You. Don't walk away from that.
The word decency hung between them, a small, sharp lens on 4 years of wrapped ham sandwiches. Linda's hand froze. Behind her, Malcolm held his breath, his checkbook still open.
What do you want from me?
The silence that followed was heavier than any check. And in it, a new kind of negotiation began, one that didn't need numbers.
I can offer more than a check. Let me create a nutrition foundation for the most underfunded school districts. You would be the director, with a real salary and full control.
A foundation. I've never even managed a budget. I just put sandwiches on trays.
You managed to keep a boy alive without him knowing he was hungry. That's more valuable than any degree.
I could feed every kid I've ever worried about. No more watching them slip away.
Miss Linda, you taught me what kindness costs. Now let my father help you multiply it. Please.
All right. I'll run your foundation.
I'll have the legal team start drafting.
But I have one condition.
Anything.
She looked at him, and the air in the limo shifted. The condition she was about to name would teach Robert something his father's money never could.
You, Robert Carter, will spend this summer working the lunch line beside me. You will wear a hairnet. You will learn every child's name. And you will never forget where decency comes from.
I'll do it. Every day. I swear it.
He'll be there. Whatever you need to make this right, you've got it.
Linda reached out her hand, her fingers still stained from the cafeteria steam table. Malcolm took it without hesitation.
Miss Watson, the foundation will be in your own name. You'll decide where the meals go.
I am not doing this for a name on a plaque. I am doing it because there are 1,000 more Roberts out there.
Outside, the graduation crowd was thinning, but inside that idling limo, 4 years of quiet sacrifice settled into a future no one had imagined. The deal was sealed not with a contract, but with a nod that passed between them, the same nod Linda had given a hungry boy 4 years earlier. Robert's summer was about to begin. And Linda Watson was no longer invisible. By late June, Linda had a small office with a plaque reading, Watson Nutrition Foundation Director. But she still walked the cafeteria floor.
He better be here by 6. First day on the line waits for no one.
Robert pushed through the kitchen door at 5:50, hairnet crooked, apron already stained. He held up his hands like a surrender.
I've never even used a ladle before. I Googled it.
Lesson 1. The scoop has to be level, or the next kid gets a mess. Watch my hands.
Robert's first scoop sent corn flying across the counter. He stared at the yellow disaster with genuine horror.
That's a week's worth of corn, baby. Now clean it up. It's part of the job.
This is harder than my calculus final, and a lot more honest.
Linda watched him scrub the mess, her arms crossed, but a loosening around her eyes. The same eyes that had first seen a hungry boy 4 years ago. The summer shift had only begun, but already something was being scrubbed clean inside that cafeteria. By mid-July, Robert knew the lunch line better than his own street. Then a small, silent boy shuffled to the front. Same worn sneakers, same empty tray.
That was me. No card, no words, just standing there hoping someone would see. Hey, buddy, you like ham? I got an extra one today. Don't tell anyone.
Robert slid the wrapped sandwich onto the boy's tray, hiding it under a napkin. The boy's eyes widened, but he said nothing. At the end of the line, Linda stood replacing a ladle. She saw the entire exchange.
He didn't even look for me. He just did it. That's the whole lesson right there.
The boy carried the tray to his seat, the hidden sandwich, a secret between two strangers, just like 4 years ago. Linda caught Robert's eye and gave him a single, small nod. No words needed.
She's been nodding at me for 4 years. I finally earned it.
The lineage of kindness had found its next pair of hands, and inside that cafeteria, something invisible finally became visible. On the last Friday of August, Robert hung up his apron for the final time. The cafeteria was quiet, the summer program over.
You taught me what my father's money never could. I won't forget the taste of that corn disaster.
You earned your lunch, baby. Now go feed the world, but don't forget the quiet kids in the back.
He hugged her one last time, then walked to the waiting car. His duffel bag held a hairnet and a worn ladle she had given him.
I'll be back every summer, Miss Linda. You can't get rid of me now.
Look at him. 4 years ago, he was just a hungry boy, and now he's a man who knows the taste of hard work. Goodbye, Robert.
The car pulled away, dust rising on the old road. Linda watched until the taillights vanished into the tree line.
That boy gave me back my faith, and I gave him ham sandwiches. Fair trade.
The summer had ended, but the foundation was already reaching 3 counties, and Linda Watson's name was on the menu. She was no longer invisible. She was finally, irrevocably seen. Fall came, and with it, a new school year. Linda still wore her red apron each morning, but beneath it, she was the director of a foundation that now fed 3 counties.
I never thought I'd see my name on a menu, but here we are.
The quiet boy from the summer program walked through her line, lunch card in hand. He didn't need a secret sandwich, but he paused and whispered, "Thank you, Miss Linda."
They know now. The ones I helped are starting to help back.
She handed him his tray and watched him join a table of friends. He wasn't alone anymore.
One sandwich at a time. That's how you change a world.
Outside her trailer that evening, the sun set slow. She sat with a cup of tea, peaceful, and Linda Watson, who had once been invisible, smiled at the quiet memory of ham sandwiches. One afternoon, she found a lunch tray left on the counter, a wrapped sandwich and a handwritten note. The note said, "Thank you, Linda. I never went hungry because of you."
They're still out there, the quiet ones. But now they know they're seen.
She picked up the tray and held it close. The paper crinkled against her apron. In 22 years, she had never served a meal for recognition, only because someone needed to. The sandwiches had been small, but the act was immense. She had turned a daily job into a quiet doctrine of kindness.
That's all I ever wanted. To see them, and to be seen back.
She looked up at the cafeteria lights, her tired eyes filling with peace, and Linda Watson smiled one last time, the tray held gently, the note resting over her heart.